Okay, someone asked how to flirt with a white guy. It's the same as flirting with anybody else, squirrel. Like, come on now. Again, these white men, they're not aliens. But here's what I will tell you, which I think is really important. And it is this: white men flirt differently than men of color. Okay? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because oftentimes you will think, like, oh my God, I'm just having an interesting conversation in the line of Target, without realizing that you've had a 5-minute conversation with a man and with this white man. And you just thought it was just like a flyby conversation. No, that man was flirting with you. If you're talking to a white man for more than 3 minutes, he's flirting with you. I need you to understand that. So I need you to snatch him up like Pokemon, honey. Okay? You have no more excuses. You have no more excuses in terms of missing out on some of these white boys out here trying to dip their toe in the water, honey. Okay? Snatch them up, honey. Okay, no shade, girl. I feel like every black woman has a white man at work that she flirts with and he flirts with her. That energy that you give to your work white husband, or for some of y'all, it's an Asian man, no shade. That's the energy you need to be giving these white men outside of work. Do you hear me? And you know what I'm talking about too. Don't act brand new. Yes. Because honey, you got at least 2 white husbands at work talking about I'm single. No, you're not. You're taken at work.
Wait, hold up. So a white man crawling under a desk to change my computer mouse after I complained about the way it scrolled was him flirting with me? Yes, I know that was a long sentence, but my flabber was gasted.
I felt so called out with the work white husband. They buy you things without you even asking. I've had my boss buy me a whole portable heater because it was cold in the office. If I needed coffee, food, or didn't want to lift something up, they would do it. Having a work husband made work so much more fun and easier. Why I never snatched them up was because they were either married or in relationship, and I don't want that mess. Also, never date a guy you work with.
Girl, exactly. I had an Asian one, he would buy me cookies at lunch all the time. The other Hispanic one would make my task so much easier for me. I never asked for these things, it just happened. But I don't snatch them up either, because this is my career we're talking about. I truly am single.
My work husband is Asian, Indian, Pakistani. I get the white guys flirting, but getting them to ask you out or take your number. Not all have the courage, even with the cues you like them. Some can when you're friendly and flirty back, and if they really want to ask you out, they will.
Literally missed an opportunity with a gem of a man because I thought it was a 2-hour casual conversation? Shaking my head. Thank you for this video. I know now what that really meant.
I have had the same experience. They are good men, but they are married. I believe they see black women as a fantasy they want to experience. But they are not single. What about an Asian guy? Because I never forgot I liked this Asian guy. And we was talking for 30 minutes or more, but I started the convo.
Don't flirt with them. They already think everyone wants them.
This just happened to me at Whole Foods. I did not know he was flirting, so she just sent me this video. Laugh out loud.
Not gonna lie, I always just think, oh, he's just being nice. Unfortunately, one of the drawbacks of being a late bloomer is I never know when guys are flirting unless they're aggressive.
Their work husband is so real. I live in Europe. I had many bosses and colleagues who would be super nice to me. The stares, favors, You name it.
I never knew this. They are always striking up a conversation with me. I just thought they were good communicators and enjoyed talking, sharing information. Interesting.
I can't say that I personally resonate with this dating advice. First of all, I never dated a white man. And second of all, I didn't have work spouses when I was in corporate. So while this dating advice doesn't necessarily resonate with me at all, what I find the most interesting is the amount of feedback, or put another way, the amount of support Anwar White got in this interview. And what it's showing me is that he struck a chord. He's speaking to the things that we all know to be true, or we all assume to be true, that is rarely spoken of, or at least rarely spoken of out loud. And what else is very fascinating is seeing the amount of women in the comment section who essentially start bragging. It's like the humble brag, right? It's like, oh, well, my work boss, he bought me food, or my work boss, so he bought me heater, or my work boss, so like the humble brag that you start to see in the comment section from ladies who are talking about their interactions with their white boss. It's really intriguing to see the amount of women who took a little bit of pride and the way that the men in their life and their jobs were flirting with them, even if it didn't ever lead to anything really substantial. Now, I am a firm believer that having a work spouse is inappropriate, especially if you're in a relationship. If you are actually legally married or you are in a committed relationship, like, there's no need to have a work spouse. Like, I personally don't think that's appropriate, but I do understand that that is the kind of culture that exists in certain corporate settings. And quite frankly, that's actually how some people end up getting ahead, right? And I'll leave room for imagination there. Now, with that said, another thing that really, really stood out to me about this interaction is how explicit Anwar White, the viral dating coach that I've covered off in previous videos, is about the fact that Black women essentially have to be more aggressive, more direct, and in some instances have to actually initiate the first step in taking a relationship from something platonic to something romantic. Like, that's essentially what he alludes to. And there doesn't seem to be really any concern. There doesn't really seem to be a ton of pushback, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of shame associated with it. I think we see, based upon these interactions, that Black women inherently have different dating standards or different expectations for white men because they know that they're white and because they know that they come from a different culture. And so while a Black woman may want a man to pursue him and to basically be the first one to say something, open the door, or ask her out, or get her number, or there's this expectation that Black men are going to and are meant to take the initial step. You see these ladies being more willing to take the first step if the guy is white. The very fact that there is not really any shame associated with a woman essentially being the aggressor when it comes to a white man or even an Asian man or a non-Black man is really fascinating to me when I think of the level of vitriol that Black women face when they are in relationships with Black men and actually show that they appreciate Black men, right? Being called pygmies, male identified, like essentially anytime a Black woman shows respect, love, honor, or does something for her man publicly, shows a public level of affection, she sometimes can end up being bullied, honestly. But it seems like if this happens for a white man, there's not as much vitriol. And again, I don't know, maybe I'm just reading into this too much, but these are just looking through these comment section and hearing what some of these ladies had to say, like, I couldn't unsee this. It was just too obvious. But anyways, y'all, that's what I have. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section. And thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.